Hello, this is my Crazy Ex channel. Please subscribe.
Found out my 28 meters wife 26F cheated on me while we were engaged after 8 years of marriage. Story 1-2. I need some advice on how to deal with this. I'm struggling a lot with it and I don't know what to do. The scoop. My wife and I had a long distance relationship for a few years, then decided to get married and move in together. We did that, and have had 8 years of a solid marriage with no major issues. We also have 2 kids. I recently discovered that a few months before we were married, she gave a blowjob to this guy that she had been hanging out with after work. I was devastated. As not only were we engaged at the time, but up until this point I had believed we were both only ever with each other. Which is something that meant a lot to me. We talked and sort of worked things out. She swore to the point of crying that nothing else has happened. A few months after finding this out, I did some digging and found out she was regularly giving BO jobs and making out with 3 guys, one of whom was bragging that they ducked regularly. I confront her about this, and again she swears that she didn't duck any of those guys, but admitted she gave and received oral and hung out with them after work. But I have other sources saying she was ducking at least one of them. I find it very hard to believe that she would hang out with them at their house and only make out and do oral sex. Like there's no way they didn't have sex. I'm suffering emotionally. I find myself overwhelmed with anger and sadness. I stayed true for her all of those years, and now I find out she wasn't doing the same. I don't care what she did before we were dating. But doing this shit while we were planning our ducking wedding? I can't trust her. She has lied to me 3 times now. I find myself emotionally disconnected from her. I feel like something that meant a lot to me all this time never existed in the first place. I can't even look at old pictures of us the same way without feeling angry. All I want to do when getting home from work is not be around her. But I love my kids. I just want what I had before. I almost wish I never found out, but I'm glad I did. I don't want to split up, but I know that if I'd known about this 8 years ago, I wouldn't have married her. I know forgiveness is probably the right path, but I can't do it. All I think about is how much it hurts and how angry it makes me. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. Reconciliation isn't always the best path. Yes, it happened a long time ago and, yes, you love your children. But her actions then and now have completely altered the foundation of your relationship. It is okay to take time to be angry and hurt. It's okay to not want to spend time with her. You certainly shouldn't be expected to forgive her, perhaps even ever, for what she did, nor for the fact that she lied to you continuously about it and perhaps still isn't being honest about it. Reconciliation takes a lot of pieces to make work and it is extremely difficult. More often than not it doesn't work at all. You need to be able to feel the hurt and be given time to come to terms with it. This is a fact of your relationship with your wife now. Nothing will ever change it. It will always be a part of the foundation of the relationship. Even though it happened years ago, she lied to you for years to hide it. When you discovered something was amiss, she continued to lie until you had proof. It's called trickle-truthing. No matter how long ago it happened, the betrayal is fresh and the trust is fractured now. It takes a lot of work for the offending partner to rebuild that trust. It will likely take upwards of a year or 2 for things to work back toward a more normal state. You're grieving what you believed your relationship was while trying to build a new one from the broken pieces. It's a lot of work for you to try and come to terms and accept what happened, and even more work for your wife, who should be willing to go to the ends of the earth to try and repair what she damaged in the first place. Maybe you will decide to try and reconcile. Maybe 6 months from now you realize that you'll never be able to look at her the same and that the relationship is unsalvageable. Both are valid options. You don't have to choose now. The best thing that you can do is get yourself into therapy and, if you're feeling up for it, attending couples counseling with your wife. This can be a traumatic experience and a good counselor can help you process your feelings, whichever way they land in the end. Any subreddit about infidelity will also urge you to seek out a divorce lawyer, even if you plan to reconcile, so that you can see where all of the chips lay legally. Usually they can give guidance on financial issues in case you do pursue a divorce, so you can be more prepared. But please, don't pressure yourself to make any choices right now. Take time to process everything. I'm sorry this happened. It's a terrible thing to discover, no matter how long ago it may have been. Take care of yourself and your children. ETA, thank you for the awards. Op answer, you're grieving what you believed your relationship was while trying to build a new one from the broken pieces. So much of what you said is spot on and good advice. Really helped me to see this from a more clear angle. But this quote hit me hard as it's exactly what I'm feeling. Thank you for taking the time to reply, it means a lot. Redditor 2, respect yourself. 1. A cheater, always a cheater. She's victimizing herself and continuously lying to you. Do a paternity test on your kids, find a lawyer, separate your finances, and go to therapy. Op answer, as far as I know, she has not cheated after we got married. I know the kids are mine. They both look a lot like me. Do you think I'm overreacting about something that happened so long ago? Thanks for your input. Redditor 3, like I said in another comment, if you didn't suspect her of cheating during the engagement, how would you know she isn't cheating afterwards? Op, this woman admitted it to you but then also didn't tell you the whole truth, and she will continue to never let you know the whole truth. Up until you found out she did more than what she told you. What did you do get past her infidelity? Did you go to couples therapy? Have her quit job? Did you even try to understand why she cheated in the first place? Seems like you didn't even give her any serious consequences to breaking your trust. Redditor 4, bro WTF, why don't you leave? First of all, blowjob means S-time. It involves a S-time-ul organ, so it's S-time by simple logic. Don't let anyone manipulate you into thinking otherwise. Plus she was fucking those guys while wearing your ring, which symbolizes commitment and trust on her finger. I also can't believe that she went through with the wedding putting a happy face knowing she betrayed your trust and hurt you and still kept lying to you for 8 years. How diabolical is that? And would it happened a long time ago, so I maybe be overreacting? Would you have TGE same energy if your loved one was killed or raped? Cheating is a crime as well. Also, before you think of reconciling with her, just read this post from a divorce attorney's perspective. Redditor follow up, honestly I think a BOW job is kind of heavier than S-time, if that makes sense. If I have S-time with a guy, I'm getting something out of it, but a BOW job is something that I do for him, for no other reason than wanting to make him feel good. That said, cheating is cheating. Redditor 5, your wife belongs to the streets, sorry homie. Redditor 6, look man, you either need to split with her or accept that she's going to keep lying and cheating. If you absolutely can't be without her, then you need to suck it up and accept this is who she is. You are going to resent her if you stay though, and it will only get worse. I wouldn't put the kids through that TBH, the decision is yours though. Redditor 7, forgiveness and divorce are two completely separate things. The latter needs to happen, regardless of the former. I've been in your shows, just walk away my friend. Don't shackle yourself up for years of misery, pain and anger. Free yourself, your kids need a father who is happy and emotionally healed. So long as you stay with this lying, cheating pos bimbo, who ducked around while you were staying faithful, you won't know happiness, and you know I'm telling the truth. Your children will quickly pick up on the resentment, and the emotional fakeness and instability will negatively impact their upbringing. Don't prolong the greatest hope you have for a brighter, happier future. You Oscar Mike 247. Redditor 8, no can do math. Redditor 9, are you looking to divorce her or you want to continue in this relationship? Op answer, we've been together so long and actually have had a great marriage. No fighting or anything. I consider her my best friend. I don't want to disregard all of our time together. I just can't stop thinking about the pain and how I feel like I can't trust her. Redditor 10, I don't understand why people in a LDR would get married and then move in with each other. That just sounds insane. Redditor 11, cheaters don't change, break it off. I also think you both kinda ducked up marrying at such a young age. She was barely 18 and you were 20, correct? And engaged prior to that? Like was she 17? Not the best move. Redditor follow up, yeah, getting married that young, especially fresh out of being long distance, was a dumb move. Redditor 12, Jesus dude. I've been in a similar spot. You're still in shock because your entire world had ended in front of you. Your old life is ducked and over. I'm sorry, I know it's brutal. I'm gonna give you advice on how to handle this. Play it cool with your lady, contact an attorney, get an escape plan, get an paternity test, hit the gym to process all of your rage, Discover a hobby or focus on improving your career. Get a divorce and paternity test. I'm sorry, but you have to respect yourself enough to not live in a delusion. Redditor 13. Forgiveness is wrong. The right thing is what you are going to say, either stay with her or leave, but what makes the right choice is that you can be happy. Don't stay if you don't want to, and don't do it just for the kids. She lied to you all this time and she keeps doing it since she won't tell you the truth. Has she said anything else about that? Has she tried anything to regain confidence? Does she realize how much this has affected you? She is regretting it? If you want my opinion, she get out of there. She is not telling you the whole truth and she keeps hiding things. Op answer, she has shown genuine remorse and regret. She told me that she doesn't expect or want me to forgive her. She actually wanted me to hurt her. She said she feels a lot of guilt, so she wants me to hurt her in some way, or whatever it takes to make me feel better. I told her I don't want to hurt her. I just want my pain to go away. I'd never do anything to hurt her. Even after this. She wants me to talk to her about how I feel. But she gives me the space to bring it up. Since I confronted her, she hasn't tried to make any excuses or any explanations. Just that she knows she ducked up, and hates herself for hurting me. She's been encouraging me to bring it up with my close friends and family or anyone I'm close to have someone to talk to about it, which shows she's not worried about her image or hiding it from others. Redditor 14. So you started dating long distance when she was 14-15 and got married when she was 18, which presumably was when you first started having an impersonal relationship as opposed to long distance. Long distance is hard when you're a functional adult. My husband and I did it while I was working and he was in med school for a year. You have to function very differently. However, when you're 14-15 and you're long distance, you tend to think of it more as we talk online video chat. Every so often we meet up and have a great weekend or vacation together, but in the in-between moments, because you're teenagers, you're doing your own things. So she likely was living a typical teenage life of dating boys, while dating you long distance, hooking up because you're not around and thinking nothing of it. Then you get married and you're basically starting your relationship from that point because you were long distance previously. You took your relationship seriously, while she feels very typical high school student in an internet relationship of doing whatever and knowing your old faithful who she can fall back on. Almost a best of both worlds. Realistically, she risked your health by hooking up. Even if we assume it's just oral sex, she still risked your health. You were both young when you got married, but she was not just young in age, but young in maturity. Only you know if you can more to a path of reconciliation. Can you learn to trust her again, or is that foundation shattered? Op answer, thanks for the reply. I was young too, I had several opportunities to do the same. Some very close. But I was always thinking of her, and kept myself pure. So far as to even reject a girl who tried to kiss me when hanging out with some friends. I guess I saw the relationship more seriously than she did, which adds to the pain. But come on, we were planning our wedding when she did this. She had her dress picked out. There's no way she thought our relationship was any bit casual at this point. Redditor 15, not sure about anyone else, I think blowing a guy is worse than ducking them. Redditor 16, not sure about you man, but if it were me, I wouldn't be able to ever look at my sig other the same way and would probably file for divorce. She desecrated your trust in the relationship and I wouldn't be able to have respect for her. Sometimes time heals all wounds, but this one seems pretty deep. Some folks stay for the kids and separate after, but your emotional well-being is also at stake and that could impact your kids. There's a lot to digest for you, but really ask yourself what you value out of this. Self-respect and integrity? Stability for your kids? Your emotional well-being? The bright side is you're only 28 and still young. Redditor 17, I wonder how you discovered this? Via her confession, logical conclusions you pulled together, or something else? All the best. Redditor 18, I was cheated on by my ex-wife a few years back. My story is different since she stepped out while we were still together. At first I was desperate to keep things together. We have 2 kids as well. Obviously it did not end well and we're divorced. When I look back now, I'm so glad that I don't have to face someone every single day of my life that would treat me so poorly. I'm glad that I have a chance to love someone else that will be faithful and truthful to me. Redditor 19, you married an 18-year-old and you're surprised they acted a fool? Redditor 20, if she still has in her the audacity to lie to your face and deny you closure for the sake of her own comfort, she probably has it in her to cheat again. Do you really want to be in a relationship where you have no choice now but to constantly dig for the truth? And your only other option is to degrade yourself into acceptance and numbness to be okay with never knowing the whole truth? And not just that, think about the smaller lies. If she's willing to lie about something this big, think of all the other things she's been willing to lie about since then. She's not ready for uncomfortable honesty, so she's not ready for a committed relationship. It's up to you now to respect yourself enough to leave. Story 2-2. Wife 39F cheated on me 38 meters 6 months ago. She is doing everything right now, but I can't forget her past behavior. I posted this on our relationship advice and someone suggested this sub. I don't know what I am looking for. So we have been married for 6 years now and have one beautiful daughter 4 We have had more ups than down in our relationship. But just like a lot of couples, we suffered during the lockdown. Having to stay in the house with a very active 4 took a toll on the both of us. Anyways, around December last year my wife started playing online multiplayer game. As we were both working from home and all the options of our were still closed, so I thought it was a good stress release for her. Eventually she started to spend more time on her game. At first it was 30 minutes every night, then it increased to 1 hour every night, and by March this year she was spending 3-4 hours every night playing and coming to bed after midnight or sleeping in the spare bedroom. This put alarm bells in my brain, so I asked her if everything is alright. She says yes, she is just enjoying the gaming experience. I say that's nice, but I am starting to feel ignored here, and she said that she will try to regulate her gaming usage. But her hours increased instead of decreasing. By the month of May it was becoming increasingly clear that something was going on with her. She was either addicted or having an affair. We were not spending any time together. She was hooked on her laptop, and whenever I tried to ask her to spend some time together she called me clingy and jealous. It was hell. So I logged into her Discord account and downloaded the chat history. And what I found broke my heart. It was as bad as you can think: dirty chats, pics, their plans for future together, and a lot more. And it was evident that they had sex, at least once, because he was thanking her for an unforgettable experience. So I did some digging, and it turned that the guy was a teacher in my wife's school. I found his wife's social media accounts too. Anyways, by this time it was 6:30 in the morning, so I took a printout of the chat history and put it in a folder and waited for her to wake up. When she woke up I handed the folder to her and went into our daughter's room. I could hear her labored breathing and crying, and then she finally came to our daughter's room. Then I asked if she needs a lift to her boyfriend's house or shall I call an Uber? She started crying hysterically at this point, and this woke our daughter up, so our conversation was cut short. And the rest you guys can guess. She insisted it was nothing serious, she was just stressed, she didn't mean to do it, you know, the standard cheater 101 manual. It went on for a few days, but eventually she said she wanted to reconcile. I was in for the reconciliation from day one, as I didn't want to spend just half the time with our daughter, and I still loved my wife. So she started counseling, gave up gaming, and started taking an active interest in how to make our love life better, basically becoming the perfect partner. But I have somehow gone on the opposite side in terms of reconciliation. I just can't forget how she used to talk to me and call me clingy, jealous, and controlling if I asked her to spend some time together. And not to be petty, but I think I can do much better than her. She is a school teacher and I am a software professional earning 10 times her salary. Also, I am now back in the shape I was during college, as the sports jersey has started to fit me again. I have been getting tons of female attention, and so far I have not reciprocated, but the desire is there. On the one hand I do want to make it work with her, but on the other hand I just can't seem to forget her antics. Any advice on how to genuinely get over her past behavior? Update, wife 39F cheated on me 38 meters 6 months ago. She is doing everything right now, but I can't forget her past behavior. Update, the last 2 weeks have been very hectic for me, and just now things are settling down for us, so I'm making an update finally. Firstly, I decided to give reconciliation a fair try. It's not just because of my daughter, but I have realized that yes, I do still love my wife, and if possible I want to stay with her. She has been diagnosed with depression and has started her meds. She also surprised me by telling that she has taken an extended leave of absence till she is transferred to her new school, so that was something which really helped me decide on the reconciliation. We had a date this weekend after a very long time and we both enjoyed it. She is very remorseful and understanding, and I am also finally speaking my mind rather than keeping it all bottled up, as I realized that it was not helping anyone, let alone me. Now I don't know the future, but at this point we are both committed and hopeful that yes, we both want to make it work and stay together. Hopefully as she gets her depression in control we can make some major strides on the route to reconciliation. Original text below. So we have been married for 6 years now and have one beautiful daughter, 4-yo. We have had more ups than down in our relationship. But just like a lot of couples, we suffered during the lockdown. Having to stay in the house with a very active 4-yo took a toll on the both of us. Anyways, around December last year my wife started playing online multiplayer game. As we were both working from home and all the options of our were still closed, so I thought it was a good stress release for her. Eventually she started to spend more time on her game. At first it was 30 minutes every night, then it increased to 1 hour every night, and by March this year she was spending 3-4 hours every night playing and coming to bed after midnight or sleeping in the spare bedroom. This put alarm bells in my brain, so I asked her if everything is alright. She says yes, she is just enjoying the gaming experience. I say that's nice, but I am starting to feel ignored here, and she said that she will try to regulate her gaming usage. But her hours increased instead of decreasing. By the month of May it was becoming increasingly clear that something was going on with her. She was either addicted or having an affair. We were not spending any time together. She was hooked on her laptop, and whenever I tried to ask her to spend some time together she called me clingy and jealous. It was hell. So I logged into her Discord account and downloaded the chat history. And what I found was broke my heart. It was as bad as you can think: dirty chats, pics, their plans for future together, and a lot more. And it was evident that they had sex, at least once, because he was thanking her for an unforgettable experience. So I did some digging and it turned that the guy was a teacher in my wife's school. I found his wife's social media accounts too. Anyways, by this time it was 6:30 in the morning, so I took a printout of the chat history and put it in a folder and waited for her to wake up. When she woke up I handed the folder to her and went into our daughter's room. I could hear her labored breathing and crying, and then she finally came to our daughter's room. Then I asked if she needs a lift to her boyfriend's house or shall I call an Uber? She started crying hysterically at this point, and this woke our daughter up, so our conversation was cut short. And the rest you guys can guess. She insisted it was nothing serious, she was just stressed, she didn't mean to do it, you know, the standard cheater 101 manual. It went on for a few days, but eventually she said she wanted to reconcile. I was in for the reconciliation from day one, as I didn't want to spend just half the time with our daughter, and I still loved my wife. So she started counseling, gave up gaming, and started taking an active interest in how to make our love life better, basically becoming the perfect partner. But I have somehow gone on the opposite side in terms of reconciliation. I just can't forget how she used to talk to me and call me clingy, jealous, and controlling if I asked her to spend some time together. And not to be petty, but I think I can do much better than her. She is a school teacher and I am a software professional earning 10 times her salary. Also, I am now back in the shape I was during college, as the sports jersey has started to fit me again. I have been getting tons of female attention and so far I have not reciprocated, but the desire is there. On the one hand I do want to make it work with her, but on the other hand I just can't seem to forget her antics. Any advice on how to genuinely get over her past behavior? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, I hope you reached out to her partner's spouse. They deserve to know that their partner has been unfaithful, and she deserves the right to handle it how she feels best. It may not be how you and your wife are reconciling, but I still feel it necessary you do so. Redditor follow up, he did. It's in a comment of his first post. Redditor 2, it was as bad as you can think: dirty chats, pics, their plans for future together, and a lot more. And it was evident that they had sex, at least once, because he was thanking her for an unforgettable experience. Don't know how you can get over her planning a future with her fuckboy. Wonder where your kid added into that equation. But hey, good luck. Redditor 3, are you going to therapy yet for this? What about marriage counseling? It will likely have a long-term impact on you as well. Best of luck reconciling. Redditor 4, I don't get how you could ever forgive someone after they cheat on you. Saying she was depressed is just a lame-ass excuse. Redditor follow-up, to each their own. In the end, wife 1, a true cake eater. Just feel huge pity for op lack of self-respect and spine. Redditor 5, you caught her. She did not confess. She made you feel crazy for having genuine concerns. You had to snoop to actual catch her. Good luck. Redditor follow-up, and she made him feel neglected and like utter shit just because he was trying to spend time with her. Then in his edit he says she's just a school teacher and he can do a lot better than her, so it seems like there's a long road ahead, but good luck to them both. Redditor 6, she cheated and treated you like shit and you still took her back? You will regret this down the line. She no longer respects you as a man, obviously, from her cheating and hiding it from you. She didn't even confess to it. She would still be talking and screwing him had you not found out. Grow a pair and cut your losses and find someone who respects you. Redditor follow-up, it is really difficult to read these posts on this subreddit. I realize they are all strangers, but sometimes I really want to pull them away from the incoming train, but no. They're determined to stay right on those tracks, completely oblivious. Redditor 7, she was only remorseful because you are the breadwinner. Let's see how long this lasts. Redditor follow-up, it's surprising that he doesn't get this. Offer her a post-nup and watch her reaction. Redditor 8, nothing is black and white, but please know, as someone who has been suffering from their parents' past infidelities, it's very likely she will cheat on you again and manipulate you. I will also add, this event will always follow you in the back of your mind. Your family was heavily impacted by your spouse's selfishness and manipulative behavior. Now it's back into the honeymoon phase, but please understand it won't last, and your partner will resort to the same coping mechanisms next time shit hits the fan and or they're going into a lot of stress. Redditor 9, in a year, or 5, this will keep popping up on your head. She ducked another dude. That pain will keep coming back. Forever. Redditor 10, see you in a couple of years with the divorce update. Redditor 11, good luck with your decision, and I hope for the best. Just keep in mind that it will be a long journey with a roller coaster of emotions, including intense anger. The mind movies will come, and you won't be able to avoid them. Don't go physical on her, but don't bottle them up either. She has to accept that you may feel that way for years and that she has to earn your trust, not the other way around. Resist the temptation to sweep all that under the rug. Also, you have a right at any time to call it quits. Even if she does everything right, it is your prerogative if you just cannot go over it. Redditor 12, divorce her, ASAP. Every month you stay with her will worsen the financial damage of a divorce because of your wage disparity. Talk to lawyers, but don't tell her. Freeze assets. It would be incredible naive to still trust her. If you don't do this now, you'll likely be shredded by divorce in a few years. Since you are married for only 6 years, but her age being 39, I bet she already had a bunch of failed relationships. Yours will just be another one. Redditor 13, this kind of post makes me vomit. Op is a successful guy and he deserves way better, but he is still taking back a piece of crap who betrayed him, manipulated him, and treated him like shit for months. She just had to cry her crocodile tears and that was it. Remorseful lol. If Op didn't catch her, she would still be there ducking behind Op's back. I'm so sorry for him. Redditor follow up, the system is rigged. He divorces her and BC of the income disparity her gets to fund her promiscuity with 50% of his income while giving her half of his assets. Divorce reform needs to become a real thing in this country, assuming Op is in the US. Or more men need to require prenups with consequences for infidelity without women getting bent out of shape. The infidelity clause needs to go both ways. Redditor 14, did you expose the other teacher? Or confront him? Did you do an STD panel? BTW, make sure it did not go underground. Redditor 15, you are making a huge mistake right now with reconcile with your cheating wife. But it is your choice, you life. This is a bad decision you are making. But it is never too late to divorce your cheating wife. Redditor 16, yeah, duck that. She's not remorseful for what she did. She's remorseful that she got caught. If you hadn't downloaded her chat history, she would still be doing what she was doing. Redditor 17, pathetic. Redditor 18, see this person's story. You groundbreaking fuel one. Your wife needs to follow this guy's wife's path. Depression doesn't excuse things. Never let her use that as an excuse. She made choices and she needs to live with consequences. Redditor 19, just one word of warning. In times of traumatic uncertainty, the mind searches for pillars by which to ground itself. We paw around in the dark for anything to hold on to, and we cling to the first stable thing we can find. This is why hysterical bonding after breakup 2017-11. Text equals hysterical %20 bonding %20 is %28 %20 term. When %20 back %20 their %20 x apostrophe s %20 affections. Occurs. A phenomenon where two people that are on the verge of breaking up feel a surge of intimacy for one another. It's also why I notice a lot of men aggressively reframe the conversation when their wives cheat. You've managed to turn this into palatable narrative. She had depression, and we solved that. She was gaming, and we solved that. She was working with him, and we solved that. A little more than 1 week has passed and you're saying crazy things like, basically becoming the perfect partner. This is self-hypnosis. Certainly, somewhere inside, you must recognize that this is the same person that gaslighted and belittled you while cheating on you. Shying away from that reality and rushing to write over it with a new, nicer reality, will only last so long. You're riding on a dopamine high from the hysterical bonding you are experiencing. But you will come down from that high eventually. Worse yet, she will too. Redditor follow-up, 100% this is what happens. Needs to be upvoted a lot more. The truth is, no person is just one thing. People who are mostly good can sometimes lie or worse, and mostly bad people can commit acts of bravery and generosity. Side note, if she has depression and gets on meds, her libido is going to tank, so be prepared for that extra icing on the cake. Redditor 20, you'll never be able to look at her the same. Once that bond of trust is broken, you can duct tape it all you want, but it will still be damaged. And for the most part, cheaters don't stop at just one time. I advise divorce.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.